So, Edio Wang asks me, speaking of Chris Cornell and with regards to your work, do you mind sharing your thoughts about suicide and or euthanasia at this point in your life versus younger days? Since you've made so many videos over the years, I'm not sure if you've ever covered the topic. If so, feel free to revisit or share a more specific sub-aspect of the topic that interests you. Okay then, let's zoom out, set up my camera. Edio Wang, here you go. With regards to Chris Cornell, I immediately revisited a type of thinking that I know through research is not scientifically accurate. And that would be, I was wondering, because the 25th anniversary of Nevermind just happened, and right after that, radio stations were also celebrating the anniversary of Kurt Cobain's suicide. And since Chris Cornell was in a rock band from Seattle during the grunge era, and his band was comparable in fame to Nirvana, I figured, yeah, maybe they would reach out to the front man of Soundgarden and ask him, hey man, what do you think about Kurt Cobain's suicide? You know, there probably are radio stations that have audio of an interview, you know, on that day or that week, where they're asking Chris Cornell, hey man, what do you think about Kurt Cobain's suicide? You know, and this has probably come up on the 20th anniversary of Nevermind, on the 10th anniversary of Nevermind. You know, it's probably come up a lot over the past 25 years, and it would have come up again in a couple years with just the 25th anniversary of Kurt Cobain's death, right? So, I wonder, with all these times that he was reminded of the subject of suicide, did that have an impact on him actually deciding to go through with it himself? And this is completely counterintuitive after you know the science does not bear out that suicide is communicable. You know, when I was growing up, we heard about like suicide clusters and like pacts that people made. But by and large, the science does not bear out that suicide is communicable, or just talking about it will make somebody do it. In fact, as an addictions counselor, I've been trained during assessments, especially the first time you see someone, bring it up as bluntly as possible, you know? And so I do. I say, hey man, you ever thought about hurting yourself? You know? And even though I know that it isn't that way, and I've been trained to be as open about the subject as possible, I still have to wonder, you know, was there a connection between talking about Kurt Cobain's suicide over the years, especially with him being somebody that people would want to get the opinion of, and his own decision to commit suicide? From what I've seen, he was happy hours before, you know, and that's consistent with a lot of stories about suicide where people just weren't expecting it. People didn't let on before they did it with any sort of tells. But yeah, this is a musician that I guess I listen to a lot more than I realized. In fact, the YouTube channel that I made previous to this one actually had the name of one of Soundgarden's songs inspire the name of that channel. So, yeah, it's a big loss, and I feel bad for the people who saw him on the last show, and then, you know, they wake up to the news, oh, by the way, he played your show, and then he killed himself. I feel sorry for his band. Um, yeah. So that's the specific sub aspect of it that interested me the most. Comment below if you have anything to add. Um, I'm still not even accepting it yet. I'm still in shock. It's a big death in the music world, and it reminds me of when Idio Wang says, "At this point in your life versus your younger days," like I might have a different perspective on it. I did see that I felt one way about Robin Williams' suicide, and then to find out that he was facing some things that resembled Parkinson's disease that he just didn't want to go through. Um, I did have a different perspective on why and how he did it and when he did it. And so, yeah, I guess age can give you a different perspective, but I'm like completely against it. Like if I were to be in a car accident and only be able to use my eyes to control a mouse, and I was laid up in a hospital bed as a paraplegic, I would still be a fucking YouTuber, you know. Um, like Rick Allen, the drummer from Def Leppard, he lost an arm and he kept drumming, and that's me. And I understand that other people have different perspectives on it, and certain people come to a point where their quality of life is just not livable anymore. And I'm not sure that Chris Cornell reached that point in a way that I would agree with him. But I'm not him.